Every decision we make to win. And our best chance to win is to hire the very best riders in the world.
Everything is set back to even at the beginning of the season, but the field is so talented this year, it's crazy competitive.
Yeah, man, I just got goosebumps talking about it.
The rivalry is definitely not getting any smaller, I can tell you that for sure.
We got 3 newcomers, Greg, but they're not really newcomers.
Going from 2 riders to 3 riders and really completing the Indian Motorcycle Wrecking Crew, we can fill top 3 podium stats now.
Loris Baz hard on the gas and to the stripe, and Baz is going to win!
I think that's what made me love racing, that little thing, little twist between India and Arab.
As soon as Indian made its first motorcycle, they raced it, like immediately from the prototype onward.
Racing's always been an important facet of the Indian motorcycle business in product development and making the bikes better and faster and more reliable.
Indian Motorcycle is racing. It's in our DNA. It goes way back to when we started. We bring our best innovation to the bikes that are on the track, and then we bring that to the street.
Indian Motorcycle was forged in racing. Hendy and Hedstrom met at a racetrack. Hendy was a prolific bicycle racer. Hedstrom was an amazing engineer. Hedstrom made pacing motorcycles that would go out in front of the bicycles and essentially block the wind.
Lo and behold, he built the most reliable cycle pacers of all. George Hendy saw one of his pacers in a race and approached Hedstrom, and a conversation began, and the idea of creating not just a pacing cycle but a motorcycle company arose from that conversation.
You got a great bicycle manufacturer, you got a great engineer, stick them together, you've got Indian Motorcycles.
I mean, that was the first time you really exposed a larger audience for what today is known as a motorcycle. Before that, it was a novelty.
So that's where he developed the original Indian prototype. And that prototype was so good, basically, it became the first Indian motorcycle of 1901.
Indian was all about going fast, and that pushed innovation, that pushed progress.
Motorcycle racing in the early part of the century was either road trials or on dirt tracks. As you can imagine, these bikes that had really crude front suspension and no rear suspension was a little wonky on those dirt tracks, but it encouraged the development of faster racing motorcycles.
When you look at what Hedstrom actually did in those early days, how he took a motor and started improving it, and they ran really, really good, and they were fast, and Hendy saw it.
Indian introduced total outer space technology. They built their first 8-valve, overhead valve racing motor in 1911. They were raced in the United States, they were breaking speed records all over the country, they were even raced in Europe. Indian Factory sent a team to England to race at the Isle of Man. Indian began its worldwide footprint and was in fact the largest motorcycle factory in the world by 1911.
This was high tech back in the day. This was state of the art. And this kind of spirit and mentality, it's the foundation of the company. And it feeds into everything we do also today.
2025 marks the return of the Indian Motorcycle Wrecking Crew. It was an amazing group of guys back in the late 40s, early 1950s that anytime they showed up at a flat track ruined everybody's weekend. And now we've got it again with Loris Baz, Troy Herfoss, and Tyler O'Hara.
As well, Loris Baz on the bike this year as well. Big change for the team.
Making his move over, going to compete for the full season here in Mission King of the Baggers for Indian.
I grew up all my life in the racing. I'm named Loris because of Loris Capirossi. He's been a world champion 125 in 91. I needed an engine. I didn't want to do anything else, any other sport. If it didn't have an engine, I had no interest in that. I always said I'm going to be a professional motorcycle racer when I was 6, so I guess it's what it is.
You know, now for me, having a third teammate, Loris Baz and Troy Herfoss, we're just all on the same page and we all have the same vision, and that's for Indian Motorcycle to continue winning championships as a team and continue this winning legacy.
But to have the opportunity to be and form a new wrecking crew in the King of the Baggers is pretty exciting. I think we've got a really good dynamic. Tyler's a bit of an OG. We've got Loris Baz, who's proved to be an amazing rider wherever he rides, and I've got the #1 plate going to 2025. I think we've got a really good opportunity to work as a team and not just win, but win together and dominate. That's the plan.
In the late 1940s and early 1950s, flat track was absolutely huge. And the first Indian motorcycle wrecking crew of Ernie Beckman, Bobby Hill, and Bill Tuman did exactly that. They ruined people's weekends all over the United States. They won the last 3 championships for the brand in flat track.
Indian labeled their racing team the Wrecking Crew because they were cleaning up in racing. You know, ironically, the factory was going through all kinds of changes, you know, and trying to develop a lightweight modular motorcycle engine and really thinking towards the future. But their racing team, you know, they had decades, you know, 50 years of know-how. So yes, they threw money, tuning expertise, parts, everything behind this crew, and they were incredibly successful. Indian had every right at that point to call their team the Wrecking Crew because they were clearing out.
Last year the bar was raised really high, and it looks like the bar's been raised again this season.
Yeah, 2025, man, back at Daytona, a new beginning, a new chapter.
Just happy to be here, enjoying it, embracing it, and, you know, ready to fight.
Last year, again, with all the excitement of my first race weekend and doing well, there's expectation now. I've got a number 1 plate. The team know what I'm capable of. There's more competitive bikes in the grid this year, and as we all know, HD want to win as much as we want to win.
It feels great. I mean, I always dreamed racing here, you know, since I'm a kid. I heard about that place and that track and the history of this race. And
Daytona is it. This is where everything started.
Daytona Beach, Florida it's the epicenter of racing. The early days of Indian motorcycle, Ed Kretz, 1937 on an Indian Sports Scout, won the very first Daytona 200, right here on the sand.
And you think about a guy like Ed Kretz, you know, racing Indians. He was 5'8", I think, 180 pounds, and he was just solid muscle, and nobody could beat this guy.
For me, Ed Kretz has a very significant position in the history of motorcycling. And for me, that's what becomes really close to my heart, because he also took that racing motorcycle onto the street. He and all the other guys in his club. That's when kind of these two paths really start to cross. You have the whole, what will become the custom motorcycle culture, the street culture, and it crosses with, you know, hardcore racing. And for me, it's that racing spirit. It goes so much with our brand. It's in the air, it's in the tarmac, it's in the sand.
Everything is set back to even. It's the beginning of the season.
All comfy again, back home.
Look, I feel better and better. Yeah.
Get in there and ruffle some feathers.
you know, I didn't know what to expect coming into Daytona. There is a lot of things that you don't know, and I'm just gonna take it race by race. You know, I feel like what the teams and what the brand need, and at the end of the year, like, I want to win.
So the lights go off. Here we go. We're going racing. It looks like Kyle Wyman got a good launch, and he's going to hold the inside line, and it's going to be the 33 who leads us into turn one. Oh, man. And an accident. Down goes a couple riders. Loris Baz and James Rispoli, two veterans of racing in Europe, down in turn number one.
Yesterday was a tough day at Daytona for the new Indian motorcycle wrecking crew. I mean, right off the start, turn one, Loris Baz gets slammed into by James Rispoli. High sides him, injured, stitches.
I just want you to have a good start and try to be right behind Kyle and Troy after turn one, and that's exactly where I was. It doesn't look so big when you see it, but like the impact I was like, yeah, really big, and I had a massive cut in my elbow, 5 or 6 stitches there, and yeah, it was pretty banged up everywhere, but yeah, there's nothing we can do, you know, so you just look in the future, and the future is race 2, and then next run in Atlanta.
But now it's time to get after this 8-lap affair for Mission King of the Baggers, race number 2. Here we go when the lights go off. Clutches are out, we're rolling. Here's turn number 1. It's a left turn, Kyle Wyman bends it in. Loris Baz looking for some room on his teammate. Come on.
This guy won the championship with grit last year.
The number 1 SNS Indian motorcycle, that's on a Challenger. Troy Herfoss goes onto the banking, and we're gonna see how these two American Iron machines face up on the high banks of Daytona.
We got all the factory Indians and all the factory Harleys.
Oh, Bradley Smith!
Bradley Smith tips off.
So this is all racing as Kyle takes over the lead from Herfoss.
Come on, let's see this single fast. Come on, bud.
First full lap goes to Loris Baz, 150.422, fastest lap of the race.
For Loris Baz, he's still learning the track. This is his first time circulating Daytona on the high banks, albeit on a bagger.
Loris Baz, right now, the Frenchman, very impressive performance.
James Rispoli has
hits
gone
the deck.
down in turn number 6. To be hitting top gear right about now, and he's going to be getting sucked into the draft pretty violently at this moment, and you're going to see him pull to the right side of Kyle Wyman.
Here they go to the stripe. They come. Wyman turns it left and wins the race by 56 thousandths of a second. And Herfoss thought he had timed it perfectly.
A podium for Loris Baz at Daytona, a track that he has always wanted to race with stitches in his arm, you guys.
I did a lot of races in my life with broken bones and injured, but this morning was just like pure torture riding the bike. A third place after what happened yesterday, it's a really good. Now I have some time to rest.
Race day 2 in Daytona went a lot better than race day 1. The team executed the way they're supposed to execute. The riders executed the way they should. We led a lot of laps. We traded a lot of leads. Came down to the draft and the finish at Daytona like it always does. We came up just a little bit short. But honestly, overall, coming in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, we got to take what we learned today versus day 1 and take that into Atlanta and do even better.
We are back here at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta, for Mission King of the Baggers.
Having a history at this track of winning is always good for everyone's confidence. Having a history of winning in the rain, is always good for everybody's confidence.
It's a challenging track. I love the layout, I love the track, but you need to feel confident with the bike, and the bike needs to give you the trust to push. I've never been really lucky in this track, but I loved it, so we're gonna try to turn the luck around this weekend.
We're getting ready to go racing here at Mission King of the Baggers, race number 1. When these lights go off, it's a wet racetrack. And away we go, and it's the 33 of Kyle Wyman who's going to lead us into turn number 1.
First 20 seconds in Atlanta is so important, especially in these kind of conditions. Now, as Kyle Wyman looks to be streaking away, but he's got Troy Herfoss directly behind him. Baz goes around the outside of Rispoli as they go down into turn 10. So you got 3 factory Indians and a factory Harley sandwich at the moment.
So this is the classic iron battle of American manufacturers here in this big twin category. Kyle Wyman has a long look over his shoulder, but here comes Loris Baz.
Baz ran a good sector 1.
So Loris Baz in the draft of the Harley-Davidson looks like he's going to make a move, but it's the Fast King on rain tires who's going to hold it wide open. Down into turn 10 they go, and Baz went around the outside to capture the lead. Here comes Loris Baz, hard on the gas behind the bubble and to the stripe, and Baz is going to win on his factory Indian machine, and it's going to go Troy Herfoss in 3rd place, Hayden Gillum in 4th.
I never choose any ride in my life without wanting to win. I always tried my best. I trained for that, and so yeah, that's why I was really disappointed after the race 1 in at Daytona, because that was a big points away. And yeah, I'm happy. I mean, you never know if it's gonna come, but you work for that, and I'm proud of the team are doing, and we're working pretty well.
The heritage of Indian Motorcycle is to develop champions. We've had so many champions in the history of our great brand. And to see somebody like Loris come out and just want it and dig deep, he's reflective of our past. He's reflective of the people that came before us. He's reflective of Indian Motorcycle and the Wrecking Crew. So it was good to put a stamp of validation on that today with the win.